him.
All right. We're ready. 3, 2, 1. Estamos en vivo, ladies and gentlemen. We're Long Live Boxing en Vivo podcast. Always, tres amigos. Manny Marrero.
Sean El Gringo Hicksa.
Hopper.
Breaking it down like it is, like it should be. Episode 52.
What you gonna do?
What you gonna
52.
do? ¿Cuándo son 52?
Whoa.
The bad
in
boys
the
in
house,
Dallas talking boxing.
Oh, my God. Okay, so we did have a guest that was gonna come in, but she's not here.
Left hanging, Gringo.
Ay.
She had a lot of commitments.
Things happen.
Things happens,
us.
but
Speaking of things that happened,
I know what happened.
let's talk about the PBC.
PBC in the house.
In the house. Recap.
Hopper, show him some love. The PBC was that worth it? What happened?
Well, did we overhype it?
Exactly.
Did the bubble burst?
The bubble burst. No. Showtime Boxing.
Hey.
PBC Boxing returned to Showtime this past Saturday. Angelo Leo. He became the 5th boxer from Albuquerque, New Mexico
Very
to win a
good.
world champion.
Yes.
He defeated Tremaine Mighty Midget Williams to
Right.
capture the vacant WBO junior
Actually captured
featherweight.
my heart in that fight, man. Love
It's-
seeing him.
it's a
Love-
great fight,
Great
yeah.
fight.
And as I
Was
said
very good
earlier,
fight.
He becomes the 5th boxer from Albuquerque, New Mexico. Who are the other ones?
Oh, man.
One.
Tapia.
Johnny
Oh,
Tapia.
that's
La vida
right.
loca.
Johnny
Mi
Tapia.
Vida Loca, Johnny Tapia,
Johnny Tapia.
Danny Romero, former
Danny
2-division
Romero.
champion, Holly Holm, former
Oh.
women's welterweight champion in the boxing division, and the late Bob Foster. He his first world championship in May 1968.
Nice.
And he actually went on and challenged Joe Frazier and Muhammad Ali, but he lost both by knockouts. Rest in peace, sir. Still mighty accomplished. But on the main event, Angelo Leo started off kind of slow. Tremaine Williams was landing those left hands, but after maybe round 3.5 in the fourth, Angelo Leo just took over. He the pressure, the constant pressure, the body punches. The body punches.
Ouch.
Yeah. Once he found his way
Yeah.
on the inside, it was slow, but Leo eventually got there. He took over.
So-
And he found an answer to the left hand. He adjusted
Yeah,
from
he did.
Tremaine. He started fainting a little bit. And also, before we move on from that, I want to give props to Showtime for the way they've learning some of the lessons that Top Rank is experiencing with the COVID pandemic going on. They were savvy enough to have Tremaine Williams in the undercard. So the co-main was a boxing fight in the division in case something happened, and something did happen because Leo was supposed to fight Stephen Fulton, but he came down with the COVID. So
no, that is a great strategy, and
It is.
that so kind of
yeah.
makes more sense because I was thinking to myself like, how the hell is he performing so well with 3 days' notice? Because he was literally preparing for his
he
own
was
fight.
preparing
He
for
was.
a fight. Yeah,
He's a Mexican warrior,
Yeah.
and
No.
he's this big kid, man. He's big,
Big
strong,
boy.
very smart. He's
promoted
young.
by Floyd.
I mean, it's amazing how you can just at the last minute have the opportunity of a lifetime, and you're able to adjust. Because Mighty Midget was pretty tough at the beginning.
Yeah, he was. Those first 2 rounds,
Yeah.
left hand just
I
kept
thought he was
landing.
outboxing him.
Wow.
He was outboxing him, and then
Yeah.
once Leo cut the
Started
distance,
3 rounds and on.
started
That's Leo.
fainting a little more.
So, what do you
started-
guys think about this though? Because I mean, I've had people kind of take it different approaches. I thought that Mighty Midget was outboxing him, and then he became tired, and he just said, even though I know if I fight on the inside, it's going to be to my demise.
Yeah.
Or do you feel like I'm shortchanging Angelo Leo?
Yeah,
he
I think
forced
so.
his will.
I think Leo
Well, I do that.
imposed his will.
I do.
Mr. Half this man disappointed.
I'm disappointed again.
I'm disappointed by this guy. He won, but
Oh, yeah.
I gotta find something
No.
wrong with him.
And the thing I liked about Angelo Leo was his ring walk. He came out to Los Tigres del Norte.
Yeah.
Soy el jefe de
Yeah.
jefes, señores.
That's what champions do.
That's what
literally
champions
now.
do.
That's why you got attached
So,
to it.
Great fight, and he might have to fight Stephen Fulton next. So
Yeah.
can't wait to see that one.
And
That-
that
that'd be
works
real
out
good.
because
Yeah.
that actually was going to be
And
the fight.
and matter of fact, it works out because it'll be a really good fight.
Yeah.
But not only that, we know that Pitufo Diaz coming down, and apparently he's in the hunt
He's in the hunt.
to the WBO.
Yeah,
so
yeah, there's
the
some
winner of
sharks
those,
there.
there's some couple things that could happen
Yeah.
out there with
With
at the super bantamweight
Yeah.
division as Vaquero Navarrete
Woo!
vacates, moves up, and
Yeah.
going on
Yeah,
to bigger
he'll be
better
fighting.
things.
Yeah, he'll be fighting Magdaleno. But yeah, the Tremaine Williams was moved up from co-main event. The guy he was supposed to fight, Rais Salim, He was in the co-main event. I tell you what, man, Raisa Aleem impressed the hell out of me.
He did.
He's 17
Sure
and from Muskegon, Michigan.
Mhm.
He dominated Marcus Bates in their rematch. It was a WBA 102-pound elimination match, and Bates Bates actually said that the reason he lost the first match. Check this out. He said it was because his cut man at the time was friendly with Aleem, and he spiked his water during the fight.
With what?
To give Aleem an advantage.
Kool-Aid?
That's what Bates said.
Kool-Aid?
That's what Bates said. Well, let's look back at what happened in the rematch, and Aleem put that conspiracy theory to bed because he gave Bates an old-fashioned beatdown. He pretty much did anything he wanted to do. Bates kept trying to set traps, but Aleem was just too powerful. He's faster than him. The jab was working wonders, and then Bates said he hurt his wrist, and he did. Afterwards, he was pretty much done. The referee stopped
for the
it.
day.
He gave up. He turned his back on Aleem, and
Yeah, TKO round 10, 10-minute, 18-second mark. And then, honestly, I'm kind of surprised it lasted that long. You know what? Honestly, when I was watching this, and it's funny, when you watch a fight not knowing there was a previous fight, I mean, obviously I figured that out. But if you just watching it, I'm thinking like, man, what happened in that first fight? Because there's a clear advantage on the Reese side. Like,
yeah. What happened? That's a great question, Gringo. I'm glad you pointed
maybe
it out.
he drank that
I
water.
said, damn, what? Maybe he did. Maybe he drank the water. He did drink the water. But that's a great point because the difference between the first and the second fight is night and day. It was from one extreme to the other. Just Aleem just dominated, and this was a WBA eliminator. You know, the WBA has all these stupid belts.
I love them all, WBA.
Ahmad De Laviv is the man. He's the unified champion. Brandon Figueroa is the WBA world champion.
Yeah.
Ronnie Rios is WBA gold champion.
And they've all been on the same cars before, I think.
That's just crazy. WBA.
I love it.
Frustrates me. Aleem was ranked 8th going into this fight. Above him, Dana Roman at 2. Hovhannissian is at number 1. Mike Plania at 5. Man, that'd be great. But I think all these guys are with other promotions. One's with Plania. Just fought Greer, so I'm sure Uncle Bob has options on him. Dana Roman's with Matchroom. Hovhannissian is with Golden Boy. So that sucks for Aleem. Probably the only realistic option would be Brandon Figueroa. So keep your eyes on that. The opener was a knockout in the light heavyweight division. Another rematch. This was Showtime's first boxing fight since March 13th. Joseph George from Houston.
H-Town.
H-Town, Clutch City. Scored a
Roundhouse.
sensational knockout over
Round number 9,
Marcus
30-second mark.
Escudero. George controversially won their first fight by split decision. Many felt Escudero was the busier fighter in the bout. Credit to Escudero. He was winning the rematch. I mean, he was actually
This was another one,
outboxing
though.
him. Yeah, he was.
This was another one. When I was
Another
watching it, okay,
Yeah.
so when I watched it, I had the same feeling like, how does this become a rematch? I was like, somebody clearly watched tape because I was
Yes.
thinking like Marcos was doing his thing. He was controlling with that
Marcus
jab.
Escudero was just.
He was really controlling the action.
Joseph George was losing bad, in my opinion, my eyes. And up until, what do I always say? The power is the greatest equalizer in the
Power is
sport.
power in the ring.
Power is power. That left uppercut just discombobulated Escudero. Not even 30 seconds into round 9. He was nowhere near beating the 8 count.
This clearly impressed myself, my brothers here, and the Charlos who are out from H-Town as well.
Mhm.
They said Lions only wants to start working with Joseph George. They see that they see potential in him. Maybe the fact that he doesn't play, have the greatest defense at all. But that power, though.
And then the power, though. And here's a little interesting nugget.
Some sweet sauce.
At the time of the stoppage, Spider, George, he was losing on 2 scorecards. All right. I thought he was losing on every scorecard, but Don Trella had a 79-73. Steve Weisfeld had a 77-75 in favor of Escudero. But check this one out. Tom Caruson had George winning the fight 79-73 at the time of the stoppage.
What?
So
79.
79.
You know what that
73.
means? That means
We got a what?
that he is the donkey of the week, man. Spider.
EnVivo.
Tom Caruson,
Way
congratulations.
to go, champ.
Wow.
79-73. Are you serious? Joseph George was winning that fight? No.
Completely. I mean,
How does he score fights?
It was filled out the day before.
The day before.
The day before.
I love
when
that.
they planned the cards. He filled.
Man,
he
so
filled his
basically,
own
they
one.
emailed him like, "Hey, you working that
what's
fight?"
up,
He's like,
bro?
"Okay,
Goodness gracious.
who's fighting?"
Who's fighting?
Let me get my
Let me
card
get-
filled out.
done. That's ridiculous, right? He had him win. I couldn't
Is
believe
that for
it.
real?
Yeah, it's for real.
All right, so just real quick, and we never do this before because we don't prep at all, guys. Sorry.
We don't.
Is this a real dunk? Is that a real scorecard?
It's a real scorecard.
That's
ridiculous.
worse.
He had 79, 70.
There's no way.
He did.
That's the fakest thing I've ever heard.
That's crazy, right?
On that fight,
Was that his first judging?
79, 73. George was up.
I mean,
Is he legally blind?
I don't know
No,
what he
no,
was
no offense. I
watching.
mean,
and you can't blame it on the booze because even if
No,
you're
there's no
drinking, I mean,
way.
you're
He
still gonna
was
see it
like-
right.
I know, right? Even then,
okay, so I have to say
maybe
this,
it was
and
a different George.
I've been saying this for a while, and I had a conversation with a referee, and he was saying that he doesn't feel. This is where I think they make a huge mistake. I think referees, judges need to be very clear on what they want to see and how they score. Like if I'm a judge,
Yeah,
right? I'm gonna
yeah.
say, what do I,
Oh, Gringo, you're touching on a subject that
No,
we
no.
definitely need to talk about in
we're gonna
depth.
have a full discussion.
depth.
But for me,
There
if,
should be a set criteria.
yeah, if you have to say what you're looking for. First of all, punches landed, damaged.
Defense
Has to be
effective
scored.
aggression,
Effective aggression.
ring generalship.
Yeah, and then someone is
Body
clearly,
punches.
well,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's part of the effective aggression.
right.
So, but that's the thing, though. If I put that out there and then everyone knows, and you're not
Okay,
doing
yeah,
that, they'll be like,
yeah.
"Well, hell, Gringo said he likes effective aggression. You're over there, pot shotting and shoe shining.
He
You're
liked
not
it on
getting
that
anything."
fight. He didn't like
Yeah.
it on this fight.
Yeah, but you know why though.
yeah.
So, but instead we got to figure it out, and that's what
Why?
I hate. Like they'll show, on this card he scored, but that doesn't mean anything. I don't know what's in the mindset of that person, especially when they're filling out their card the day before. So, I mean, I know
What
it's a dream that will never happen, but I digress. But again, those
my brother
donkeys, they're killing me.
with the
They're killing.
fire.
They're
with
killing.
the
I mean, I don't.
mic
I don't.
drop
I don't
over
know
there.
what they
Go ahead
go
and drop
through.
that mic over
Ay, ay, ay.
I don't know what they go through or
Yeah,
what they're thinking
79,
at the
73.
time that they're
I really thought
scoring
you
the
were joking, man.
fights.
That's why I got fired
But
up.
I don't know what they're thinking at the time they're scoring the fights. I don't know what they're looking at. I mean, I know that we've been ringside in some of the events,
Yeah.
and we see, and it's very obvious.
Do
I
you
mean,
ta-
we saw
do you- okay.
Listo Gaitan like winning the fight, and all of a sudden, what are they seeing? So my question is, I mean, you said you take a lot of things in consideration. So what you're saying is that they don't really take that and build them into the scorecards, and they just have feelings of what they're seeing,
Mm-hmm.
It's
just
basi-
instead of
Right.
following
So
the protocols.
This is
or
my
the-
understanding, and I've had conversation with referees, and I'll continue to have them, that they base it off what they see from their view. So every judge is at a
Yeah.
different location.
Mhm.
So if they have, in fairness to them, and this does make sense, if you have somebody fighting in the corner and all
One
you see
punch
is the
looks
one,
different than-
one punch is going to look different, like it landed or it didn't, but not in this fight. Not they were in the middle of the ring. There wasn't no blocked obstructions, anything like that. And then honestly, if those things are happening, they need to give those guys like cameras. Seriously, like we have the
Yeah.
technology.
Well, they
to
got
do
the
that.
replay
What they
thing,
need,
but I
yeah.
don't know if they have a replay outside of Vegas, which this fight was.
they
in
also-
Vegas, so I don't know.
They also need to have like these post-fight meetings with these judges. Tell me, why did you score this fight the way you did? After
A
every
judge
fight,
supervisor,
What I
right?
After every fight, yes. Okay, once the
Don't
fight
you
is
think
over,
they
you
do
head
that?
you head straight to
No.
They
No.
don't.
No,
It's not like
No.
basketball.
The judges
like the referees
have
at
dinner.
basketball.
The
They have a
the
protocol.
judges
and
can
they're-
have dinner before with the promoters the nights or leading up to the event. Yes, that can happen. Teddy Atlas has gone into great detail in one of his episodes about what can happen. You can have the referee literally with the promoter, rubbing elbows with the promoter.
Remember Fight of the Century or the Robbery of the
Robbery
Century?
of the
Robbery
Century.
Don King?
Don
They had that
King.
dinner?
Yeah.
Right. So
Had a
it's
massive
definitely
dinner,
happened,
yeah.
and we've all witnessed it. The judges, when those fights are over, once they wake up, they're out of there, man. They're
Mhm.
flying out
They're
of there.
done. Go on to the next fight.
Yeah, they're not. It's not even they're
Little side check maybe in
Oh,
the
there you
pocket.
go.
Little some on
Little
the side.
cash
Some
money in
extra
an envelope.
Yeah.
And if you don't like ketchup, you
bank
get sweet
accounts
sauce.
increasing.
Yeah.
Make a duck sweet sauce.
Extra
Some of them
room for
nuggets.
the house.
I'm getting hungry over here.
Anyways, okay. From
My bad.
one,
My bad.
I mean, from
one-
donkey. Let's
Let's get it
yeah,
back. Let's
from
get it
one
back. Sorry.
from one PBC fight to another. Fox PBC Fight Night this Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Is headlined by top welterweight Jamal Shango James, and that's being kindly. He'll be battling Puerto Riqueño Thomas Delorme
Delorme.
in a 12-round battle for one of the
be a good
interim WBA welterweights.
That's a champion, Manny.
Interino.
That's
I
a
know.
champion.
That's a champion.
Interim.
And the
You're
co-main
next.
event.
I feel like you're next. You're interim. You're
You're
replacing
interim.
someone, and then you'll be replaced.
That's
the way
the
I see it.
WBA.
No, it's a temporary belt.
It's a temporary belt.
That's what
It
I'm
is.
saying.
That's
You
what literally it is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
My
and
goodness.
the co-feature
Should
though
I get
features,
excited about that?
We should
Temporarily, yes.
Temporarily.
temporarily. David Morrell.
Do I have to defend it?
The Cuban, David
For a little
Morrell. He's
David
going to be
Morrell.
stepping up in his third professional fight to fight unbeaten Lennox Allen in a 12-round WBA super middleweight interim title match as well in the co-main event. So that David Morrell, Cuban sensation, he's going to be fighting for a belt in his third fight. Man, that's pretty good.
No,
man.
that's great.
Super middleweight.
good.
And the thing, and talk about the main event real quick. Jamal James and Thomas Delorme, they both lost to Yordenis Ugas. So I actually have both of these guys a little ranked a few notches below the elites. I can't see either of these guys fighting, defeating Porter, Keith, Spence, Crawford, either of those guys. Jamal James, he's 6'2", and he fights every inch of his 6'2" frame. He has a long jab. You know who he reminds me of? He reminds me of Dazim from Street Fighter. Yeah, just like that.
Dazim.
When he watch this guy fight. When he throws his punches, it's like his arm is extending. That's he stretches his jab, but he's very effective
That's
inside
amazing.
fighter. But his bread and butter is on the outside, and that's where I think he should take this fight with Thomas Delorme. He has the thing about Jamal James. Opponents, he's tall because of his height, and opponents can land way better leverage shots to his body. Antonio DeMarco in his last fight, Antonio DeMarco campaigns at 140 pounds.
Mhm.
He moved up to fight Jamal James in the welterweight division. He was walking him down,
Mm.
walking down the bigger guy in that fight. And he does have some rope burns, and he stays on the rope a little bit too much. Quite frankly, yeah. I mean, and Delorme, Manny, I know you want to touch on your boy, Puerto Riqueño. He's taken some losses, but he's lost to Crawford, to Ugas, and
Good losses.
Yeah, good losses. 33-1. Luis
Yeah.
Carlos Abrego at the time, and he drew with Jesse Vargas.
Jesse Vargas.
Yeah, he took. He beat
He fought some really good
yeah,
fights.
he's beat Hammer and Hank
He's got a
Lundy.
respectable.
Took the O
resume.
from Kareem
Yeah.
Mayfield, and his last fight took Terrell Williams O as well. Delorme, the thing I love about Delorme, he's more compact. He's a beautiful sharp jab, and he sets up that powerful overhand right with his jab. That overhand right can do some damage. He's the shorter fighter in this fight. Very good body puncher, and he sets traps as he works his way in. And you know what? I'm picking the Puerto Rican to win this main event. I'm picking
What?
Delorme. I'm picking Delorme. He's more experienced, a smoother boxer. You know what? I'm taking one step further. Stoppage by body
You
punch.
taking a stoppage?
Yeah, I'm
feel that good
thinking.
about him?
Delorme levels. I think Delorme is the better boxer. I think that's gonna show on the.
He's a gatekeeper.
No, he's not a
He's
gatekeeper.
not.
I think he's better than that. I mean, he's lost to
he's
Crawford and
Fringe
Ugas.
contender?
Yeah, I mean, he lost to Ugas.
Fringe contender.
He lost to
better.
Crawford
And Ugas.
back-to-back wins. Then came
Yeah.
out with Ugas and lost to Ugas, and it was actually a unanimous decision. So it wasn't
Yeah.
that bad. I mean, he at least lasted, and we know Ugas at that time.
And
He
then-
had the potential to
Yeah.
become a
And we know what Ugas
champion.
is now.
And
No,
then
no, definitely.
You pull
And
up a
then-
draw against Jesse Vargas, which at that time Jesse Vargas
He
was
was
still
peaking. Yeah.
peaking.
And Luis Carlos Abrego was 33-1 at the time.
Exactly.
I did want to kind of touch on that, Manny, and I'm surprised but excited by the pick that Hopper made. I know that at the time, they were building him up, building up Delorme, and that was a big fight with him back in 2015 when he fought Terrence Crawford, actually here in the DFW, not too far from my house.
College Park Center.
Yeah, but after that, he had to kind of bring himself back. He had a tough fight, tough loss against Ugas. Had the draw against Vargas. But all that being said, though, there was at one point, and I know it sounds crazy now, where he was like up and coming like the man. How big was he? Because from my perspective, as far as a U.S. fan, was he really like some of the guys we're going to talk about in a little bit, where they were, he could be a future champion? I mean, how hype was it on the island? And from your perspective, were you a big Delorme fan?
Yeah, I mean, I watched him from a lot of time to time, and he had a lot of expectations to becoming a world champion. I think it was more back in 2012, when he was doing his 17th fight against Luis Carlos Abreu. He suffered a 7th round knockout, and so every champion needs to have a bad fight or something that will spike the facts. Like, man, I got some talents. I need to work on some other areas, and he has gone back. My concern was that not concern, but the problem is that he was up and coming at the same time these other boxers are coming in.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about Terrence Crawford. Boom, that's the second loss he suffered. And then you come in about Yugas. Yeah, that's another fight. And then you fight Jesse Vargas, and then you draw him. I mean, he still has
been
that
matched
potential
up
there.
tough
He's
with
been
Hammerhand
matched up. So
Gundy,
there's a lot of
Curry
people
Mayfield, Terrell
coming up
Williams.
with them that, right now, to be honest, he could still contend. If he wins that WBA interim champion, that gives him an opportunity to probably go Taylor, which is the champion at this moment, the 142.
Well, that's a great point.
So that's the thing, though. He's the interim champion. He'll be next in line for that. And I don't know if after this fight, either Apostle or, Ramirez that we talked about in the last podcast, but I don't know what they're going to do afterwards if Taylor's, I don't know, if have they signed someone to Taylor?
Taylor has a mandatory to fulfill, and then afterwards the understanding is that Taylor, if they get through his mandatory and if Ramirez gets through his fight, they're going to fight.
Right. So this gives him an opportunity to eventually, if all that stuff happens and unfolds, then, he could actually be there for another good payday and a winner of that. So it is a big opportunity, and then that just came up. Thank you to the WBA for this interim stuff, because it definitely shines.
Right.
Yeah,
it actually worked out. So, props. I've been wanting to ask you about that as far as how is his career viewed.
Yeah, no, he's well looked at in Puerto Rico and in the Latin community as well, and he's created a lot of big, huge fan base also. And so because of the people he's fought, and he fought great fights against them. You can't say you went 10 rounds completely to Yugas. You can't really say that. You lasted 6 rounds against Crawford, but Crawford, come on, it's Bud Crawford. But Jesse Vargas, coming out the unanimous decision, 12 rounds, big, strong boxer. I mean, this is a potential caliber boxer. I don't know if this is going to wear him out, but I can tell you for a fact that has given him experience to go on to the next fights right now. And I agree with you. I believe in a stoppage because of the experience and the caliber of a boxer that he'd encountered in the past. This is what's going to really get them to that level to say, man, I am better than
if
Jamal James. No disrespect to Jamal James, but I think he is.
If Delorme is right in between the ears, he'll win this fight. He's the better boxer by far,
absolutely,
with the better competition. But what I'm super intrigued by is the co-main event, the Cuban, David Morrell. He's only 2-0. He's already fighting for a version of the WBA, and you know how we feel about the WBA, but whatever. Side point.
We kind of like him.
Yeah, he's taking on
this
Lennox.
episode.
Lennox Allen is 22-0-1. Everybody talks about how they want these boxers to step up their competition. Well, here you go.
There you go. Step it up.
This guy in his third fight fighting an undefeated 22-0 fighter for a belt. So I really want to see what this guy does. David Morrell out of Cuba. There's a lot of that Cuban style. Hopefully, he doesn't have too much of that Cuban style. Hopefully, he's. I hope he does. From what his manager's saying, that power in each hand is very exciting.
I hope he does.
If he can win this, we'll have another player.
I hope he does, because Cuba. We used to call Cuba the mother of boxing. The style, and I think that Puerto Ricans have learned a lot, through Cubans. Cubans were, for gold medals for so many years, but they lack of championships right now. So I'm excited to see talent right now. And I think Luis Ortiz has led the way to other young, talented fighters to emerge, and to say, listen, we need to bring something back to the island. And I think they desperately need it. So this is really good. I like this. I like this fight. I like this kid. I'm expecting a lot, though, and I hope that doesn't backstab him.
No, that's a good point that both of you guys made. The technical standpoint, the respect that they get from the boxing community as far as being fundamentally sound, but also they have that stigma as being they're going to put you to sleep. So we want to have some of that balance.
Bring it dough.
Yeah, right. So I'm really hoping they have some balance to where he does have power. He does show some offensive ability as well, and not to become too defensive where he's almost restricting his talents. But if he's going to be in a co-main event with two, he's got to be.
Oh, it's got to be the good, right? He's got to be the good.
Yeah.
It's got to be
that's Vasily Lomachenko stuff.
Yeah, that has me excited too.
How many amateur fights I
think he's 150.
150?
2 losses, I believe.
Okay.
What his amateur record is 150.
I mean, not like Lomachenko.
So, sign me up for that one.
I know. No, I can't wait. PBC, thank you.
Yeah.
Keep it rolling.
Also on the card, our boy, Omar Juarez.
South of
Texas on the border. 7-0. He'll be fighting Willie the Trill Shaw, 12-1 from California. That's a good matchup. We'll see what Omar Juarez has. A popular fighter down in South Texas.
Definitely.
Miko Fox versus Lucas Santamaria, 22-1. The Professor Fox, only 5 knockouts. 24-year-old from Maryland. He'll be fighting 10-1-1 Lucas Santamaria. Also, Vito Melnick Jr. versus Chris Rollin, the 18-year-old Vito Melnick, a.k.a. White Magic. In these times, you better be careful with that.
La magia blanca.
He'll be fighting Chris Rollins, 30-year-oold with 3-1. And Luis Peña will probably be the opener. He's 6-0, 6 knockouts from Ventura, California, battling Michael Coffey, 9-0 from Brooklyn in the heavyweight division.
Man, sounds like a pretty solid card.
Solid action this Saturday. I'm looking forward to it. And you know what the best part is? It's free on Fox. I'll be in Houston watching.
Ooh, you're hitting the H-Town.
H-Town.
So are you going to try to get a Charlo interview?
Slim Dugga.
At the same time.
I'm going to go talk to both twins. Yeah. Hopefully they...
I would have a one-on-one interview on them.
Me. What's up, champ?
They're going to love me today.
Nope.
Hell no.
Who's that guy?
Who is this fool?
Who's this fool, man? What you doing over here, bro?
Oh, my goodness.
Why are you wearing a red shirt?
Fantastic.
Oh, I know.
Half man,
but
half
yeah,
disappointment.
that's as far as the PBC goes. We've touched on the fights that happened. Touched on the fight that will happen. Another fight that already happened. Gringo.
Virgil
Ortiz.
our boy.
Man, I'm going to go ahead and say that he's done it before.
Is he the real deal right now? Is it? I mean,
yes.
Is Virgil Ortiz the real deal?
You know, I'm gonna go ahead and say this as well, that I'm convinced that not only the real deal, but I think that without saying it, but showing his hand, Oscar De La Hoya is saying that this is the guy. This is the guy. It's not King Ryan
prospect, yeah.
right? I think this is the guy they're going to develop. They're going to put all their backing behind, because the loyalty, you're not getting a bunch of diva nonsense. Nope. And the results.
Yeah.
And the results.
Wow, the results.
I mean, he puts his fist where his mouth is.
Samuel Vargas isn't nothing to sneeze about.
No, that's a tough opponent.
He's fought Spence, Amir Khan. He almost knocked Amir Khan out. He fought Luis Calasso, took him the distance.
Amir Khan
out. You almost did. Danny Garcia. He fought Danny Garcia. And I'll say this about our boy Virgil. And we got to call it like it is. The concern that I had with him was his boxing ability. I kind of felt he relied on his power too much, and that's what these power punchers do sometimes, is they relied on the knockout. When he fought Antonio Orozco, and let's keep it real, Orozco was frustrating him. Orozco was outboxing him for the first few rounds. Yeah. And you could see the frustration on Virgil Ortiz's face. But, you know, Orozco was moving up from the division lower to welterweight to fight him, so that power eventually got him. But this Virgil Ortiz, you can tell he's been grinding during this quarantine.
Completely.
His footwork was on point. He's composed. He was always balanced.
He waited his time because he didn't really get frustrated. And let me just work my craft.
Like I just said, if I was a judge, I reward the effective aggression.
Effective aggression, correct.
Virgil landed 48% of his punches.
And that was my point.
Compared to just 18 for Samuel, so his defense was
that was my
point,
well. To be honest, that he landed a lot of punches.
I will say,
very accurate.
I think Virgil, even though he said himself that he landed a lot of body punches, I don't know, I kind of respectfully disagree. I kind of felt that he was headhunting a little bit too much at times. I felt he could.
He knew that he felt his power, and you know that when you're in the ring and you feel like you really get someone, and you're like, "Ooh," you hear that little, "Ooh," or like, you know you got him.
Yeah.
So I think at times he needs to kind of pull back and work his way in. But if he gets confused and all of a sudden he starts not focusing on his plan, then that's when we haven't seen him in trouble, but that's where he starts missing a lot and not really being accurate.
Yeah, and we want to know what's next for Virgil. I mean, we're all excited, but let's hear it from the man himself.
Yeah, I'd love to hear
Let's see what's next for you, Virgil. What do you think?
Tell us.
The best. Who do you want next, Virgil?
You know what? I would like to fight someone like Danny Garcia or Thurman.
Ooh.
I believe that those are very good fighters that honestly that I can beat.
Ooh.
So let's make the fights happen. I don't think that 100% sure I'll win those fights, but that's the point of boxing. I'm here to take risks. That's how you become great.
Oh,
I love the honesty.
I love what he said. I don't think I'll win 100%.
Yeah.
But that's what we're here for.
Exactly.
We're here to box.
And not only that,
will
if
Ryan
you
say that? Will
yeah,
Ryan
no, heck
Garcia
no.
say
He'll
that?
be saying, I want Crawford.
I want more money.
I want Crawford and more
What?
money.
Do you see how many followers I have?
Well,
Yeah.
exactly. So
No.
just imagine
no.
if you have to be the one to actually deal with and pay
Oh,
and actually
my
have to
goodness.
support, and we're getting on the outside as a fan, if we're getting worn out by that, could you imagine? I
What
mean, I know we
Oscar's
give,
going
you know,
through?
Oscar a lot of crap and, you know, well-deserved in some points. But I'm thinking as far as the standpoint of just a business model, if you're going to invest in the path of least resistance. Invest
Virgil's
in the
ready.
in the sure deal.
Virgil's
Yeah,
in.
he's
Virgil-
ready.
And he's from local.
He's
He's,
ready.
from Grand Prairie. He's here
yeah.
from
In
deep
the
south,
house,
Grand
son.
Dallas,
Prairie.
Texas.
But
Virgil and Earl spent.
it's realistic. It's just a different. It's just a different boxer, a different,
Different mindset.
Mindset. You can't
Yeah.
compare him with the Ryan Garcia, same stable, but you can't really make much comparisons. He sounds more mature, and he is in a division that is even tougher than the lightweights for Ryan Garcia.
Big
And you're
time.
asking for a lot of money. Listen,
And the
I
lightweight
don't know
division
if
is
I'm
tough.
going to get there. Listen, I don't know if I'm going to get there. But what I'm going to tell you is that I'm going to try to get there. And he's not ambitious. He's humble. If it was someone else with his talent, he'd be calling Buck Crawford immediately. He'd be calling Spence immediately. I want this, guys. I deserve this and that. And that's what we love about him. And everywhere he goes, he supports a lot of Mikey Garcia promotions and, Lisa Gaitan and all those guys. Every event he's out here. He's out there, and he's just such a nice guy to kind of talk and approach to, and a local one. So we're excited what's to come to him, and I hope it's a major fight.
I hope it's a major
I don't
fight.
know if it's a Mikey Garcia, but I really think I could see Keith
They
Thurman
won't
right
fight.
now.
They won't.
Well,
I really
here's
think
the
I
thing,
can see Keith
guys. I
Thurman
mean,
there.
when you look at the rankings, I mean, he's not hard to find. WBO has him as number 2.
Yep.
Number 2. And then you look at the WBC, you know how they play. They have him at number 8. So I'm thinking, like, there's a lot of names on there. There's a lot of, juicy nuggets for some
lots
sweet
of stuff.
sauce, potential matchups that could be had. So we said about, seeing more. Hopper mentioned about being concerned about his, defense and going a little bit of head hunting. But against the type of talent he would need to go to that next level, champion. And the WBA has him as the gold
champion.
The gold champion?
Aluminum champion.
Oh,
I
man.
don't know. One of those stupid things. But yeah, look at the WBO, though, real quick. The
Yeah.
WBO, the champion, Terrence Crawford.
Danny
Number 1,
Garcia.
Danny Garcia, the ranked number 1 contender. Number 2, Virgil. Number 3, Mikey. Number 4, Sean Porter.
That would have been a good fight, but Sean Porter's fighting for Ned.
The point that I want to bring up is that they're all different promotions affiliated. Terrence is with Top Rank, Danny and Sean, PBC, Virgil Golden Boy, Mikey is his own boss. So, man.
Well, yeah. Speaking
I
of
hope
that,
these
let's
fights
kind of,
get
obviously we take the part of the passion that's there, the confidence, but actually looking at the names and looking at some of the names that are ranked, which one do you think if there's any realistic possibility they could actually fight, or maybe not realistic, but which one would you like? You know what? I would love to see Virgil against this guy.
Well, he's not going to fight any of the PBC guys. It's a pipe dream at this point.
I like pipe dreams.
Pipe dreams. I could see. The only guy I could probably see stepping up to Virgil is maybe Sean Porter. Sean Porter just gets down like that.
He's fighting Sebastian Fernanda for the.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. But after
that would be my second fight to see him. I would love to see him fight Porter.
How great would that fight be?
But with Keith Thurman, that would be something because you're fighting either or. I would say with Porter to really test his skills in terms of brawling and seeing how he can, receive a lot of punches and having an opponent that is really active and no matter how much you hit them, he still hits back at you.
Yeah, to me,
right. So I would feel more at Porter, but I would probably
the
see
way it's going,
Keith
he's probably
Thurman.
going to end up fighting someone like Josecito Lopez or something like that.
Damn.
I'm sorry, guys.
No, you ruined the show. 52, ladies and gentlemen.
In
Thank
the
you
house.
so much.
Thank you, guys. But before we move on, there's a super bad chick that we definitely need to talk about. Man, if you were in the
love her.
restroom,
missed
trying to
it.
get a...
Not even then. If you sneezed.
If you you missed the...
You sneezed,
If
and
you
you
were
lift your
still
head
in the
up quick
kitchen
enough?
getting a snack, Gringo, were you in the kitchen getting some food?
So I
sure
have a
was.
story.
I was mid snack walk.
I have a story on that,
Oh,
and
all
it's
right.
real.
Uh-oh.
Ran out of my beer, got up, went to the fridge, which is right next door. Right close by. Opened the fridge, pop out the cold one. When I look back, it was done.
You had to drink it at the fridge?
It was over.
Man.
I know. I turned around and it was like,
What the hell?
it's already done. My cousin was,
She
it's done. I'm
knocked
like,
him
what?
out 7
I had to watch
seconds.
the replay.
Oh.
I had to watch the replay. I was like, wow. What was that?
Her ring walk lasted longer than the fight. And kudos to her. She came out in a cape. She came out to Alicia Keys. This girl is on fire.
Fire.
Man.
She was on fire. And she walked
Tell
in
me
there.
about
She was
it.
detonated.
She was phenomenal. So I know that she was recently asked about it. She's very direct and candid, and she said, "Hey, that's who they put in front of me."
She had
and respect to her
Miranda
opponent.
Atkins. She had no business being in that ring.
No, she really didn't.
5-0 going into the fight. 4 of her opponents were making their pro debut. The fifth win was a rematch on one of those opponents. She had no business.
Now, what I will say, because I'm not going to pretend like I'm an expert on female boxing. What I do know, as far as supply and demand, there's just not a lot.
There's just not a lot of bodies. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's not a lot of bodies, and that's what we got.
There's just no.
I mean, she could have fought the next day.
But you know what though? Props to Miranda Atkins though for stepping up. She's a 42-year-old cancer survivor, but she had no business being in there.
No. I mean,
she almost didn't
proud
survive
of her,
that fight though.
and she started later in her career, but I mean, honestly, it's just no way.
All it took was
That
7
was
seconds.
just-
She was so passive
That was
coming
a
out of
little-
the fight. Like, what do I do? This is for real.
Yeah.
She's coming at me.
She's
gonna hit me. She hit
no
me.
joke.
I'm asleep.
I'm gonna get paid. I'm gonna get paid.
Hey, when she came
all
out
you
that
can
corner,
say.
I was thinking like, is she hearing impaired? I'm not trying to be disrespectful. Like, it's like she didn't hear the bell
Wow.
because she was so like,
What do I do now?
did it ring?
Wow.
And then like she was asking Superbad, did it ring?
What do we do
Just
now?
one punch.
Should I hit you?
That was, that was so quick.
Shout out to the hearing impaired.
Hey,
Yes, super bad. You are super bad. She wants all the champions from 105, 108, and even 112. So go get them.
She'll go.
Isa. Just real quick, our boy Hector Valdez from Dallas. He picked up his second win of 2020. He improves to 13-0. Hector Valdez, he couldn't get the knockout. He did have Morales hurt a few times, especially in round 5. He tightened up his defense. Pretty much just wanted to survive. Good work by Valdez as we continue to monitor, but not monitor, but yes, monitor.
At the same time, Jerry Jones. Hey!
Yes, I'm glad you got the reference. Sugar Shane Mosley Jr. claimed an 8-round unanimous decision over Jeremy Ramos. He improved to 16-3 and with 9 KOs. He's trying to carve out his own niche, but he's already lost to someone like Brandon Adams, the guy Charlo caught flack for fighting. So Shane Mosley Shane Mosley Jr. is looking like he's going to be a fringe contender or journeyman at best. So, and that's pretty much it for the Virgil Ortiz fights.
Yeah, I mean, I'll go ahead and say that his fight saved it.
His fight saved it.
His fight saved it. I
and
mean,
super bad.
Super bad. Anytime.
No, that was.
Yeah, she's
it.
phenomenal.
Everyone, I asked a question. How many people missed that fight? To be honest, and they were plugged in on their TV.
You were trying to get
got
to,
up. You got up. Oh, this is starting. Let me get up.
I'll be right back. It's over. But we go from fights that already happened to another fights that's gonna happen. There's a trifecta of Boricua prospects. They're gonna be
Boricua invasion.
The bubble will be a little closer to home for them.
Yep.
Which guys?
Boxeo.
Do you know these guys, man?
I kind of do.
Have you
I'm
ever heard of
excited
them?
about him. I've heard him. We've had him on our show.
Should we be excited about this?
All Star Boxing Inc. and Tuto Zavala Jr. They're coming back with Invasion Boricua Boxeo Telemundo.
I love that name.
Glad to see that.
Me too.
Telemundo.
Invasion Boricua.
Glad to see that they start
I need
21st of
that shirt.
August. Osceola Heritage Center in Kissimmee, Florida. Start 21st of August. And we are about to see the prospect, Puerto Rican prospect. In our list, we have about 6. He is the cousin of one of our past guests here, El Zurdo de Oro. His name is Henry Moncho LeBron, 12-0 with 9 knockouts. He will fight on an 8-rounder, Luis Poroso, which we did see.
Fought,
Zurdo de Oro. He
de
got him a
Oro.
7-round knockout, his cousin. So that's going to be a pretty good one.
You
'cause
beat him up now, primo.
Poroso was really, really good, right? Poroso gave a lot of trouble to Zurdo, and we know that Zurdo, it's getting to that level to, people are looking at him, and he's making a lot of changes in his career to get into that level. So, and we know how highly he talked about his cousin. So I can't wait to see that fight. That's going to be a really good one, 21st of August. Also in that same card, Nelson Colon, he's 4-2 with 3 knockouts. He'll be fighting Ofacio Colon. He's 3-0. It is a 6-rounder in the super bantamweight division. Another good one that is actually what happened. I'm excited about this one because we haven't talked about him. I kind of have been reading about him for about the last 6-8 months.
And you haven't mentioned him?
What?
No. I mean, he
Selfish.
was still
Selfish
amateur.
guy.
He's still amateur.
What a jerk.
He was still amateur. He was expecting to go to the 2020 Tokyo Olympics. As a matter of fact, he is the super welterweight, 152 pounds, champion for the qualifiers. And because of the pandemic, he decided to go pro, and that is from Caguas, Puerto Rico. It is Omar Rosario, over 200 amateur fights. He actually signed a contract with Split Team Management with T. Van Newhouse.
He's got a great stable. That's where
does.
Nova is.
Exactly. So
And,
at a
big
22-year-old,
boxer from Milwaukee.
he has
they're
a
the
great
same?
potential.
Yeah, they're in the same.
They're the same stable. And the interesting thing about this is his first trainer was Miguel Cotto Sr. So his idol is Cotto, and the best of all, he loves the body punching. That's all I hear about. He's a guy
Body
that loves-
snatcher.
He's a body snatcher.
Love the body snatchers.
So we look forward to see him. I think he's fighting at the welterweight. It's still a lot way to go yet, but I look kind of forward to see his path. In hopefully we'll have him sometime in the show. But it's we got some good stuff going on.
Yes,
20th of
we do.
August in the featherweight division, Orlando Capu Zurdo de Oro. Gonzalez 15-0 with 10 knockouts. He'll be fighting Mexican Diul Olguin 14-3-4 with 10 knockouts.
Vamos.
I was
Arriba la
I don't
raza.
know. I really haven't
Trace
heard
Town,
of him before,
Mexico.
but I know he's Mexican. And
I don't know who he
I
is.
wanted to throw that.
I don't even remember what name you said, but I did catch that he was Mexican. So
Diul
I will. Oh, that's what I'm going for.
That's who I'm going for.
That's my guy. What was his name again?
When they started the
Okay, that guy.
Mexicanos,
that's
he's
my guy.
Mexican. That's my man. Yeah, go.
Win.
He's never won?
His
What?
name is Diul Olguin 14-13-4. This is
horrible
another
record.
test on to Zurdo de Oro.
respectable.
I don't think it's at the
Respectable, you're right. He's accomplished.
I don't think it's at the level of the Poroso, but this is, in a short amount of time that Gonzalez just fought a couple, weeks ago. So coming back again on the 28th of August, giving him an opportunity to showcase his skills and learn from, the experience he had with Luis Poroso. And not only that, we know that he hired a nutritionist and also a new trainer. So he's looking sharp.
Yeah.
Saludos, Zurdo, papi, de
Saludos,
corazón. We
Zurdo.
love you.
Yeah.
Good luck in that.
All y'all,
And
Xander, Orlando, Henry.
I know another thing that he had mentioned when he was here, too, is that Top Rank has him on a real aggressive
He
plan.
does.
Yeah.
And he said he wanted to fight, 2-3 more times this year?
Yeah, he said like 3 more times. But also, too, I like the way that he was very transparent. He said, hey, with everybody moving on out, that helps me move on up.
Exactly.
Like the Jeffersons.
Holla at your boy.
En vivo, Zurdito. 4 de septiembre, 4th of September. Our prospect, youngest, top-ranked signee, Xander Zayas, 4-0 with 3 knockouts. He will fight. Now, he's going to 6 rounds now.
Ooh.
He will fight Masad Abdur-Rahid.
Good job. Good job.
Man, that was
Masad
amazing.
That was amazing.
Rashid.
Man, you did it again.
He
So it
is-
wasn't a fluke.
He is 1 victory,
Man, he's been practicing.
1 loss,
Yes.
and 1 knockout. So he's basically coming off from a couple of fights after his pro debut, starting at the 6th round. I really don't think. I tried to find any of his fights, but I couldn't find anything. So I'm assuming this is probably going to be a 1-rounder for Xander Zayas. I know they want to try to explore to see how he can go to the distance. Last fight, he did go to the distance. He showed us a lot. He showed us that he can, take some punches. He shows us that he can, stick to his game plan and also adapt to any kind of issues that happens that he's not able to, with the game plan. He's able to turn it around, and he did, and he went out and won a unanimous decision at a 4th round. So he's going 6 rounds. I don't think it'll last, but the good thing is that Orlando, Florida, and I wish I could go.
I wish
man.
you could go too, Manny.
These are some of the good cards, man, that we want to be able to see. Telemundo, tu canal siempre. And this is not paid for, but we want to shout out to them and thank you so much for putting these cards on together.
Yeah, we're really excited, and I am glad that we're going to have an opportunity to see them perform. It is going to be televised on Telemundo. They do a fantastic job
Yes, they
on
do.
their their broadcast. So my question for you, Manny, all right? So out of these 3 cards, and you've laid them out and definitely went into Henry LeBron's a little bit more detail. It looks like they have a little bit more meat on the bone as far as what they're providing. But which one are you most excited about?
I think I want to see Henry LeBron. I think we've heard a lot from him. We know what Xander is capable of doing. So they're exploring the 6 rounds, as I mentioned. It's not at one of those calibers, but they're keeping them active. Good, they are. Don't let them guide them, guys. Don't try to push him out there. And with the big dogs yet. He's gonna get there, and he's gonna be great. We've seen Zurdo de Oro getting tested, and he explained to us that all the excitement around the bubble and all that stuff, and now it's the time for Moncho LeBron. A lot of people have not heard of him, but there's has been a huge buzz ever since he signed with Top Ranks. He could be the next potential champion. So he
was actually signed before Capu.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm ready to see him. I wasn't able to go last time there in Orlando. Packed place. There's a lot of Latin community and a lot of Puerto Ricans in the area, get a lot of support. But that's the fight that I really want to see. And of course, I want to be able to kind of see Omar Rosario, which is it's a huge up and coming prospect that's hitting a lot of buzz in Puerto Rico, and to see what he's got. And I think that he's going to really show us some of that glance of what they're talking about. But other than that, I mean, we got some stuff going on, so that in all divisions and anywhere, I mean, it's just, this is boxing. This is what we love. And I'm glad that all this talent, younger stars are starting to get developed and emerge and starting to get being active. That's the word. You got to be active. And if you do that, they're young. Hey, they're going to become world champions.
Future champions.
So,
no doubt.
One last thing I want to ask, man, before we close out, as far as, those young Puerto Rican fighters
whippersnappers
being on the card. But it does seem like, to me, I mean, obviously it's because of, the exposure plays a big part of it as far as Felix Verdejo. Why is it that he captures the imagination like none of the other guys have yet? Because, I mean, I'll be honest, I go on social media and I'm gringo as they come, and I'm seeing people that are claiming they're boxing fans, people that are claiming they're in boxing, claiming that are, Puerto Rican and they're in boxing and they love boxing, but they don't know who those guys. I mean, they know Xander,
right?
But they don't know Capu. They don't know Henry LeBron.
Yeah,
Casuals.
How is that possible?
These are guys that are born and raised in Puerto Rico, and the only time they go outside of Puerto Rico is when they go fly to fights. That's it. So if you go to Puerto Rico and talk about you find a real boxing fan that knows and understands not only top elite boxers but also prospects, he'll let you know. But in the outside, since they're not hurt, their people are used to seeing the main cards. These are cards that not a lot of people have Telemundo. So
they should.
Do I speak Spanish? I'm a boxer. I don't speak Spanish. I love boxing, but I ain't going to watch it.
Right.
So it's not until they get to these bigger platforms that now people are starting to, okay, I've never seen him, but hey, there's been a bunch of other fights, like Boxeo Tecate.
Mm-hmm.
That was another Univision that used to bring a lot of, as a matter of fact, I started watching Ramirez Solo Boxeo. Solo Boxeo
Tecate.
Exactly. I started watching Ramirez there for the very first time. Mi Vida Loca Tapia. Even, some of the boxers that we start seeing there, and all of a sudden, now they're in the bigger promotion companies. Now they have bigger exposure. They're champions. And so if you're not in the island, you may not notice them. But right now, Moncho LeBron, Orlando Gonzalez, Xander Zayas, these are guys. And of course, I'm hearing a lot of buzz about Omar Rosario, but these are the guys that now people are following. Even my friends from back then didn't know about Xander Zayas. It's like, man, duro, that's a good, wow, amazing. They've been following, not only us, but they've been following a lot of other people talking about, the young prospects of Puerto Rico have, because we're hungry. We were built for champions, just like, Mexican, Philippines, and all over the world, right? We need another champion, and all of a sudden, things are just popping along that you got a lot of people plugged into it. And so it's sad that they don't have a lot of exposure, but you'll see. You'll get to that level.
I think you're right. I think the patience is going to pay off, and I'm excited too. And I don't see how one, two, maybe all could reach high levels of potential, multiple championships. You guys are going to get a championship out of Delorme this weekend.
Potentially, but look at this. Look at also what's happening is right now is now everyone knows about Berlanga.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone now knows about Berlanga, but Talk about
Even
not this
Damian
fight,
Lillard.
the previous
Damian
fight.
Lillard.
Always got to name drop him. Almost didn't name drop him this today.
Casuals. But if you think about it, it's been 2 fights that his audience has grown so much. But before the last 2 fights, not a lot of people still didn't know about Berlanga. Why? Because he doesn't live in Puerto Rico. He is Puerto Rican. Parents are Puerto Rican. He's born, my kids are born in Texas, but they're Puerto Rican, right?
Right.
But and that's the case in here. And until he doesn't start shining, he's always represented himself as a Puerto Rican, and he's likable, and he's just spectacular when it comes to boxing and power punching. So now they're starting to go in there. So there's a lot of people. It's a matter of timing.
Absolutely. Well said, brother. I love the passion. So excited.
Love it.
Let's go ahead and Hopper, end this on a positive note, man. What do you think is going to happen? Go ahead and put a prediction out there as far as what's the next big news that's going to come down, man. A fight that's going to be made, a fight that's not going to be made. I want to hear it straight from you. I know it's just a rumor. Is it a feeling? But put it out there. Hopper.
Speak it into existence. Canelo versus Callum Smith. Ryan Garcia versus Luke Campbell. Come on, hurry up and announce it.
Let's make it happen.
Let's make it happen. It's coming. I know it's coming. We need to go ahead and get that September date locked in. It's looking like it's probably going to be moved because it's just frustrating. Again, they're negotiating, but I'm just waiting for Canelo to fight.
I'm actually waiting, honestly, for Pacquiao to see what happens with him. Let's get
He's gonna
that
fight
going.
Conor McGregor.
Let's,
Woo!
no,
Hey, wait, let's get it.
that
For
there.
the Bugs Bunny belt.
Make it happen.
WBA.
And I tell you what, Teofimo Lomachenko, you guys are
Pay the
listening
man.
to this, both of you. You are listening to our podcast.
Oh, definitely.
Listen to what Manny
Pay him,
Marrero
Uncle
has
Bob,
to say.
pay
Who the heck
him.
is Manny Marrero? But listen to what I have to say.
Uh-oh.
You guys fight is the future for the division. Make it happen. Whatever it is, it needs to be done. Make it happen. If 2 million sounds a lot better, and like Hopper said in the previous podcast, if that's the case, Bob,
Hey, the man.
Abuelo Bob, just make
Get
it
it
happen.
done. Get
We
the
need
damn
it.
fight done.
Boxing needs this fights.
30% is too much. I totally agree with my brothers over here. And I'll go ahead and say that I love you, all my Filipino followers.
Yes.
Manny Pacquiao, you're the man. But if you're going to take circus fights, you need to vacate. We love you,
Love you.
but, give it up and, give it to another fighter where we can have some real
Let's get
fights.
some Crawford going.
Yeah, if you're gonna have a real fight, let's have a real fight. If you're not,
Just
vacate.
Yeah, vacate.
Episodio 52
out of here.
en el bolsillo. Lo sabes. En vivo. ¡Ay! Adiós.
Fuera.